I'm the Dean of the Irvin D. Reed Honors College at Wayne State University.
I live and work in Detroit. I moved down here when I was 18, and right now I'm the Executive Director of the Contemporary Art Institute of Detroit.
What's my role in the Detroit rollerblading community? I guess you could say coordinator, organizer, that kind of thing.
I'm a DJ and producer in Detroit. I've been a DJ for over 25 years.
My friends and I were kind of interested in the gardening movement that was happening down here, and it just seems like such an interesting place.
The question of what to do with our cities is complicated, and only one thing is clear: change is needed. What change, by whom, in which direction will depend upon each place's specific circumstances and goals. Detroit has some of the largest stretches of wide-open, unused land in any urban area in the country. These desolate urban voids have been used by entrepreneurs, artists, urban gardeners, and other innovators who have seen the potential for opportunity. In times of plenty, we live as we so desire. Hardship demands perseverance. Detroit has been the source of many of the nation's greatest and most popular artists in music and entertainment. Along with the well-known names, Detroit has been home to a multitude of other artists and performers involved in every kind of art, from electronic music to theater to sculpture. The city has been slowly losing people ever since the 1950s, but recent numbers suggest that the growing movement to rebuild Detroit has the potential to implement more widespread and lasting change, to have an environment that better supports the health and education of its citizens.
Forward Arts, that is what we founded, and it's an organization that's committed to helping established and emerging artists and organizations at all different levels kind of provide professional or financial resources for them to create a stronger art community within Detroit.
Basically, what we do in Detroit is we are social entrepreneurs that involves
mixing virtual reality and real reality, and trying to put Detroit online in new ways for local benefit in the city, but so that people anywhere in the world can watch it, invest in it, enjoy it, and become a part of it.
Most of what I do in Detroit is focus on a very small area, maybe 10 blocks in a neighborhood that some people call Island View, some people call the Lower East Side. I work at Earthworks, which is an urban farm run by the Capuchin Soup Kitchen, and I've done everything there, from working in the fields to working with a group called Youth Farm Stand, which is 5 to 11-year-olds who are really into kale. I helped build an outdoor classroom with a group of U of M students on the grounds of Earthworks, and I've been teaching 4th grade at a school that until recently was called Butzel and is now called Marcus Garvey Academy. But these are all ways of my being an artist working in public in Detroit.
Well, I moved back to Detroit in 2008 to produce the annual Motor City Tap Fest, and I also founded the Detroit Tap Repertory, which is a group of Metropolitan Detroit's most elite tap dancers. We've had a lot of great performing opportunities in the last couple of years, and the Motor City Tap Fest, I bring in artists from all over the country, and they teach 4 days of classes to tap dancers from all over the world, pretty much.
We moved out and went to a farm, lived on a farm for my childhood. When I moved back, I saw the vacant land, I saw the possibility for not just arts and culture, but also agriculture. We had sheep and some chickens that lived over here in the gallery for a few years. So those are the things that interest me with Detroit, and it's the possibilities here. And the Contemporary Art Institute of Detroit is this space here that we're in, which I opened as Detroit Contemporary in 1998. It's a music and arts performance space. And then we have another space in Southwest Detroit, which is called Whitdale Arts, and then another space that's called Ladybug Studios. Whitdale Arts is just a regular art space gallery. The Ladybug Studios is a media lab where we're going to start a radio station, independent radio station, and then a ceramic studio where we do classes for kids and families. And then we actually have a little carriage house down the street that we run installation shows and things out of that.
I've been involved in Detroit rollerblading since 1996 when I started skating. I started working in skate shops in 1998. Opened my own skate shop from 2003 to 2007, and run something called Friday Night Skate, which is in its 10th year this year. That's a weekly coordinated group street skating session. I would do that every Friday during the warm months. And actually this summer we've been taking it even bigger and kind of working on some projects you can see here behind me. We've got some spots we're building. Pretty cool. A lot of stuff going on in Detroit with rollerblading. I also started DetroitRolling.com, which is has been just pretty much a message board, but it's someplace online for Detroit rollerbladers to come together and have some place to you know, meet each other and coordinate stuff and talk about stuff and post their photos and their edits and all that kind of stuff. I also, my roommate and I in the last year have pretty much converted our loft downtown into a kind of a mini indoor skate park. We have a couple of grind boxes, a grind rail, and a couple quarter pipes. So that's pretty cool. That gets us through the winter months, and of course we also skate at the local skate parks, but that kind of gives us more of a low-key place to hang out.
I got into DJing, actually, it was an accident, personally. When I was in college, I went to Wilberforce University in Ohio, and I was a member of the student government and activities coordinator. And one of my responsibilities as activities coordinator was to play music on a portable turntable system if a band didn't show up. That's how, you know, I got my interest in it. When I returned to Detroit, I went to a club and there was a young lady that I knew who was DJing. I'm like, well, if she can do it, I can do it. So I decided to buy a pair of turntables and a little disco mixer. I eventually ended up auditioning for a DJ company, and I got a job with the company. And that's how my DJ career began. I played in many clubs in Detroit. I also did, as a mobile DJ, I also did a lot of parties in different places. And I played for all types of people. So a lot of the guys in the underground would come and bring me copies, promo copies, hoping that I could program, you know, some of their music during my sets. I tried to get in as much as I could because WJLB was very formatted on really what they wanted us to play, but I was able to sneak it in, you know, and I got reprimanded many, many times, but it's what I wanted to do because I really love the music. So that was one way of exposing people in Detroit to the underground music that was coming out of Detroit.
The regular unknown artist out here, I can speak particularly in the hip hop realm and the poetry realm. The average dude who's just out here spitting or doing his poetry or making his beats and his music that's completely unknown to the city. Like, I'll be in one circle with these guys, kicking it, amazingly talented. I go into these other circles and be like, oh, you ever heard of this guy? Nah, I never heard of him. That guy's level of talent is so far beyond what I'm seeing with dudes with reputations in other cities, man. The caliber of creativity and artistry is so high that me being around that has just naturally influenced me and made me step up my game. There's that saying, steel sharpens steel. And I think it's fitting, I guess, that this is the Motor City and all that. Like, just bumping heads with all these amazingly talented people have just made me work harder. You know what I mean? I thought, well, I knew that I was extremely talented and good at what I do. Being around these people, I really realized that I still had a lot of room for improvement. You know, the bar out here is high. And I think hip hop being as competitive as it is, you see the bar here, you want to be here. And it's just that cycle that continues to repeat and just gets that creativity flowing, man. Like, I wish I could more eloquently put it into words, man. Like, I think it's something that people need to experience.
I work with Young Detroit Builders, which is a GED and construction training program. And we educate and train young people between the ages of 18 and 24. It's a youth development program. It's a holistic approach to youth development. And what we do is we use construction skills or construction training as a venue to educate young people while they're getting their GED.
So Mary's lived in and around the city her whole life. And Mary is an artist. What kind of art do you do?
Drawing, painting, installation, multiple medias.
We work on a project called Loveland Micro Real Estate, where we invite people from anywhere to purchase little square-inch parcels of land in the city. So for $1 an inch, you can become a landowner in Detroit. You know, we basically take vacant land in the city that we purchase, and then we grid it up. We make a mirror of it on the internet. So if you invest in the project, you can log into your property, or the micro hood as we call it. You can meet your neighbors, and you can make plans and do things with your physical space. We've started working on a number of projects in the city of that lens of trying to put real stuff online to invite anyone from anywhere to participate in the city in fun, creative ways that also help fund the development of really real things.
Where I got into the liquor business, it was truly from discrimination. I went to a club it was back in the 80s. It was a club called Taboos. But I noticed the bouncers kept coming out, asking all the white people, they'll walk up to them and say, you invited to the party, come on in, come on in. So I'm waiting, and I kept noticing more and more black people just waiting outside in the cold. Then some convicted drug dealers named the Curry Boys, they pulled up in their Mercedes or whatever it was, and I saw these bouncers jump out and told them, oh man, you invited to the party. You know you invited, come on. My wife was a barber and cut a lot of the people hair and cut members of their group hair. So they pointed at me and they said, let Mongo in. So then the guy come to let me in. And I looked, I say to hell with this. I said, man, you're gonna tell me all these black people out here waiting, lawyers, some was doctors, but here the dope man could get in. And I walked away. And on my way home, because I own other businesses down here, I drove down this street and there was a sign saying for sale. So when I called, I couldn't believe the price. They said $12,000. I said impossible, something wrong with the building. So I had building engineers checked and nothing was wrong. So I said, oh man, you gotta get a liquor license. And they say, well, that's why we can't sell the building, because we can't get a liquor license. You're next door to a synagogue. I said, well, I doubt if the rabbi have anything against you having a liquor license act. I lied to the rabbi. I said, yeah, I'm Jewish. I even said a few prayers that I had learned, you know, going to different bar mitzvahs. So he said, okay, Larry, if I ever short of a man, I'm gonna come get you. And that way we can have our minion. I said, I promise, Rabbi, you got it. Make a long story short, he okayed me to get the liquor license, and that's how I ended up opening the bar.
What we're looking at doing is working on a local level, like a small kind of grassroots level with organizations that we really believe in, but also working to bring art to the national scene and bring the international world to Detroit as well.
And I think you're seeing this a lot of different international artists come to Detroit because everyone sees it as such a blank canvas where they can do whatever they want. And I've heard this for years, you know, if you're an artist in New York or LA or, you know, wherever it is, you can't, it's sort of like there's already an established hierarchy there, and there's a scene there, and it's very sort of cliquey, I guess. And when they come to Detroit, they realize that they don't have all the distractions that a place like New York would have. You know, they can do whatever they want here, and it's not going to be like, it's just going to be looked at differently and perceived differently than it would be in New York or LA or wherever else.
And Detroit is kind of a new beginning for me. I quit my job that I've been working at for 5 years. It put me through college, and I've, you know, I'll say traveled the world. You know, I've been to Europe many times. I went to Peru this year, and you know, I've been able to travel and visit family members. So I've kind of done that. Since there is so much here and so much I want to be a part of, I feel like I can sort of, you know, do a little bit of everything and sort of see what really suits me the best and see where I can help the most. I'm really excited about it. So it's kind of a fresh start. It's pretty funny being in a city like this that, you know, it doesn't really have a good name, and people sort of, yeah, everybody looks at me funny every time I say I'm moving to Detroit, but it's really empowering. I feel like I can pretty much do whatever I want right now.